Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Optimal Hemp Podcast. I am Andy Bryan from Optimal Hemp, and I'm excited to bring to you a new show this week. But before we get started, I wanted to provide you an insight as to what the show is all about. Because at Optimal Hemp, we're passionate about natural health and well-being. We're passionate about sustainability, eco-living, and so much more. And hemp as a plant has so much potential in order to change the world. And I'm so passionate about that. In fact, that we did a show last week all about hemp fabrics and hemp clothing, and you can see that I'm wearing the TC brand, which is an incredible eco clothing fashion brand, and this is a hemp t-shirt. So I'm excited to be about sharing all these incredible subjects with you, and they'll be available each and every Friday. But today we're going to be talking about vaping and the benefits of using vaping over possibly different ways of taking CBD. For example, you've got CBD oils, you've got capsules, you've got many other different ways. And today I'm here with Dave Strong from Strong Hemp to talk about vaping and all of its incredible wonders and benefits. Welcome, Dave. Tell me a bit more about yourself before we get started.
Previously, this was not really my career. I've done many things in my life, but when I became unwell about 5 years ago, I eventually discovered CBD as a product that could possibly help in some way or another. After doing some research and looking around the internet, I eventually took the plunge and joined a group on Facebook called CBD Users UK, and you had Sean on a previous episode from Fiddler's Elbow Grease, who was the other admin. She did ask me to become an admin at very, very small numbers. I think there was like less than 100 people, and that group built up to, I think, in excess of 25,000 now, which is incredible. And it was a great place to be able to kind of user to user discuss, what's helped someone and what hasn't. And so I won't go into too much detail about that because you've already gone through that with Sean. But so after a period of time of being an admin, I realised that there was a lot of users looking for vaping products, and there were also a lot of companies out there that were very creating products that maybe were substandard or highly priced, and they didn't really know what they were doing. And as a previous user of vaping products for quitting smoking, nicotine products, I've been a vapor for 4 years, made my own Eliquids and my own coils, and I realised that there was a big gap between the two markets, and that there were a lot of people wanting to buy vaping products that were good quality, that contained CBD, something that they would, potentially continue to use. But we realised that there was just not. There was a big gap in this market out there. So that kind of led me on to think, well, why don't I marry these two things together? And I've got experience in this, and I know a bit more about CBD now, and why don't I bridge that gap and try and do something where I'm helping other people? Just like I was when I was looking. I didn't stick on vape products to begin with because they were so poor in quality or flavour.
So tell me a bit more about your story then. I mean, you spoke to me before about you saying you were bedbound and then, getting and using CBD. It allowed you to get back into a full-time position in terms of work.
Yeah, definitely. CBD was, to me, the sole reason that I was able to go from being so unwell that I was in a bed as 6 weeks at a time at the most. I wouldn't be able to do daily living tasks. I wouldn't be able to go shopping, do normal living things. But CBD, the first night I went out for a meal. I went out for a meal that I hadn't been able to do for, 5 years. It was just incredible. So yeah, I mean, I didn't start on vaping, but I have experienced many different methods of taking CBD, and yeah, really, it allowed me to go from bedbound to daily living tasks, and then daily living tasks to be able to kind of work every day. I've 8 months now. I've been working every day and rarely have a day off.
What I will say from experience, it's always good to have a day off.
Yeah.
But no, that's fantastic, isn't it? It's amazing. It's amazing the transformation that you can go through just for using CBD in your everyday life, and how it can, bring back your vitality. Because it's more about vitality and balance, and bringing that back into your everyday life, isn't it? So, so let's jump into vaping CBD. What is vaping all about, and how can we benefit from actually vaping CBD?
Well, your initial thing would be, if you were just looking into vaping, is quitting smoking, and that's the kind of how people think vaping is all about. Oh, I don't want to quit smoking. I never smoked. My understanding of vaping CBD is the pure fact that it's very easily available to the body. So the availability of CBD is much higher than other methods. It is also much faster acting, and it can target, different reasons that you're using it for.
Yeah, no, definitely. Excellent. So if we discuss bioavailability, because we don't want to go too much into the science here, but bioavailability speaks about how it becomes readily available to our system, isn't it? If we speak about, so what would you say the difference is between taking capsules, taking oils, and obviously then the benefits of vaping compared to those two uses?
Yeah, so a capsule or an oil generally ends up metabolizing in your liver, and that can take time to work. So, the edible type thing takes a couple of hours because it's got to pass through your system. Your system also decides, I can only process so much of this, and can also cause, I used capsules in the beginning, but I found they were very harsh on my digestive system, and a lot of people may find that as well. So vaping was an instant kind of, wow, I'm bypassing all of that, and I'm instantly getting the benefit that I may need from it.
Yeah, and I know it varies from person to person, but in terms of that releasing any of that tension that you had, or any of the stress you had in your body, how quickly did you find it acting with yourself then?
Typically it can work within half an hour, sometimes sooner. You've also got that psychological thing of, I'm using it now, so I'm starting to get more relaxed because I know that the benefit is going to come. But yeah, I mean, an edible product, a capsule, may take 2 hours, where this may take up to half an hour.
Yeah, that's fantastic, isn't it? And we talk about the digestion tract, and obviously, and when we digest things, and it's interesting to see that obviously when you vape something, CBD or else. I mean, I spoke to you about the fact that it doesn't need to specifically go into your lungs, but you can keep it in your mouth, and it gets absorbed that way.
Yeah. The real interesting thing, and I found this out with just nicotine e-liquids, so is you can hold it in your mouth and around your throat area, and you will still absorb the either nicotine or CBD or whatever's in it. It could be a full profile of cannabinoids, whereas previously, like smoking a cigarette or something different, it would have had to be absorbed through your lung walls to be able to, for your body to accept it in.
Yeah, excellent. So So when we look at people that are non-smokers and that might be adverse to potentially vaping or something like that, that they may not have to be adverse at all because it doesn't
Yeah,
affect
there
their
have
bodies.
been customers that have come to me and said, "I'm not a vapor," and I've explained, if you just hold it in your mouth, it's a very similar thing to sublingual. When you take a paste or an oil and you rub it into your gums, but really you're filling your mouth with vapor, and that vapor has either got nicotine in or CBD or a full profile. It's really interesting that it works differently.
It's incredible, isn't it? And I spoke about the endocannabinoid system with one of my previous guests. And I'd imagine, obviously, taking that, whether we're keeping it in our mouths or allowing it to go into our lungs, it will activate that endocannabinoid system, and it will go to those different receptors in our bodies.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I don't know how much you went into it on one of your previous videos, but I mean, my understanding of the stimulating your endocannabinoid system is things start regulating. You could take a pharmaceutical medicine, and that may end up blocking something, but you are starting to regulate your body properly.
Excellent. So if we look at some of the products you sell, I know you sell a range of products. Obviously, we're focusing on more primarily the vaping side of things here today. I wanted to ask you about introducing flavors to your vaping, because you've got a number of flavors. I know you've got a few oils there, vaping oils there. But how did you introduce vaping, and how does it work in order for people to use those?
So obviously my background is with vaping is the traditional nicotine e-liquid side of things. I mean, and they have these methods of making e-liquid where they mature the flavors. So it's called steeping. They steep their flavors, a bit like a cheese or a whiskey, and it sits in a dark room or wherever, and it starts maturing to that great taste that you know and you love, consistent. And what I realized was a lot of the CBD market, they were not doing this. They were literally making up products and sending them out the door. So you would end up with a product that was chemical tasting or not consistent. One week you would get a really nice tasting one, another order you might get something completely different. And you don't really want to be spending a lot of money on a product. And it's, even vaping. I hate it when I buy a product and I don't like it because I've spent money on that product. And I thought, I'm not going to have to smoke a cigarette for 2 weeks because I've got this new product. But you end up either reverting back or not using it at all and wasting money. So what I have done is transfer the maturing methods over to the CBD e-liquid market. So we steep our products up to 12 weeks before they even go on sale. So they're in a dark room for up to 12 weeks, depending on the flavour. I mean, a banana flavour might take up to 12 weeks because it's very creamy, whereas a strawberry may take 2 weeks. So whatever it needs, we make sure and we test before they even go out the door, so that every time you get the consistent flavour and strength that you know and love from a product.
And before we move on too much, obviously we're speaking about flavour, but obviously we know that the flavour is a byproduct of what we really are taking it for, because we're taking it for optimal health, aren't we? In order to achieve that optimal health, but flavour does play a part in that. Looking at that optimal health, it's great to see the range of cannabinoids that you have within your e-liquid. So you range, looking at your website, 100 milligrams all the way through to 3,000 milligrams. So I know you mentioned on the site, and you use the phrase pharmaceutical grade, and obviously that means they're very, very high quality, and you're making sure that they've got a good amount of cannabinoids so that people can truly benefit from the use of them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so many aspects to why there's such a wide range there. I mean, one, I'll go into the pharmaceutical grade CBD that we use. It is one of the best in the UK. It is almost pure. It has zero THC, zero waxes, like it's literally pure CBD.
Fantastic.
As pure as you can get it. And I mean, we put it in a vape. We put it in a vape additive, and if you leave it in the sunlight, it goes pink. It almost wants to get purer. It's incredible stuff. But yeah, so the reason why we've got such a big range is because there are so many different vaping styles. I mean, take for me, for instance, I'm a long-term vapor. I create a lot of vapor. So I have very small quantities of nicotine, say, with the nicotine stuff. So you don't really want to be vaping a 6,000 milligram one if you're vaping all day and you create a lot of vapor. Whereas someone else might want to use a small pen and have like a blast where they can get their dosage of cannabinoids and then leave it for 2 or 3 hours. And then when they're ready again, they can have another blast. And it's all really subjective to what the person wants out of the product. We also make a CBD additive, vape additive. So if you don't like the flavors that we create, we can create a vape additive. So this has very high amounts of CBD in, and it's formulated to be able to be added to other e-liquids to make them, cannabinoid e-liquids. You get your same great flavour, and it's such a brilliant product. You can also kind of take a tank and really control what you're using. Add a couple of drops into your tank of an evening day, or a day that you might need some extra cannabinoids, and it really kind of works. I mean, take my dad for instance. He will only vape tobacco tastes, and he's done that for 4 or 5 years. For him, he would struggle to use one of my fruit flavors because it's not really his style. But what he can do is drop some in his tank or mix it with another e-liquid, and he can still consume cannabinoids.
Excellent, isn't it? Absolutely excellent. And it's great to see that it's I know you didn't say pure CBD, but in some ways it's pure because it has no THC in it, THC content in that respect.
I mean, the CBD that we use is certified 99.5% pure. But
excellent.
It only seems to want to get purer. There is literally nothing better on the UK market at the moment.
Excellent. I know we're moving on a little bit, but I was going to ask you a question like how long is a piece of string, similar to that, but how much would you recommend in terms of, and I know we shouldn't be recommending anything specifically, but in terms of how much people should use per day in terms of cannabinoids when they're vaping?
I'll always recommend to someone that you always start low and build up. And in my experience, less is more. Although, there's so many different factors to it. It could be why are they wanting to use cannabinoids? How do they vape? I think there's a consensus throughout the hemp cannabis market that really there should be an upper limit of maybe 200 milligrams a day, which is a pretty huge dose, really.
That's incredible, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite unwell and I've never got to that level of usage, but I can see why people would. But really, I mean, it's so subjective to so many different things. How you vape. I mean, even if you're already taking stuff, if you're already using capsules or oils or pastes or whatever, then you might then not want to use a strong e-liquid on top of it because you would just go through the roof. And
definitely. Excellent. Well, we're coming to the end of the interview now, and final few questions. Tell me a bit more about what other products you sell, or what other products are available through your site as well.
Yeah, so most recently, originally I started as a vape specialist, and we were called StrongVape. But most recently, we've rebranded slightly and incorporated some products from another company called EV8 Life, who themselves were struggling to keep up with the demand. So we now offer whole profile hemp extracts in edibles, different forms of edibles like gummy bears and lollies. I think you might have had a few of them.
They're fantastic,
and we've also got a really good range of cosmetic products, including some very unique ones like these soaps. So we've got body soaps and a body bar, and they've got their full profile cannabinoids in them, and you can literally use them as a shampoo or a body soap, and they're pretty. But maybe we can touch on that again in future on another.
I mean, obviously with the show we try and keep to one subject a week, so we can really dive into the subject and really explore what we're speaking about. And the expert is obviously you this week on vaping, so I'd love to have you come back and speak about edibles and the really tasty lollies and gummies that you can have.
Yeah.
Is there any lasting message you want to share with people tuning in today?
I would say, the most common question I get is what's the strongest product? How much do I take every day? I would just urge people to think less is more, always less is more with cannabinoids, and find what's right for you, because every person is different.
Excellent. No, I completely agree. And that's another subject again, completely, isn't it? But thank you for joining me today. Tell us a bit more about where we can find out about yourself and your website and the products you sell.
Yeah, so we've got a website, brand new website, and that's stronghemp.uk. And you can find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at StrongHemp UK. And we're practically on all the time. So anytime anyone wants to ask some questions, they can.
And as I said in previous episodes, don't worry too much about all the links, because they'll be below this video on YouTube and above this video on Facebook or on social media. So you can find all the links to Dave's website, all his amazing products, vaping, e-liquids, as well as gummies and all the other incredible products that you sell. Thank you for joining me today, Dave. It's been a pleasure speaking to you about vaping, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Yeah, take care.
You too. And thank you all for tuning in as listeners. We will be producing episodes every Friday, so you can always contact us or connect with us on Facebook, on our website, where you can listen to our amazing episodes about the world of hemp. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will say bye for now.